I used drugs for 15 years of my life, and I had gotten to a point where I thought I was hopeless and that I would never be able to recover. I had been in and out of residential treatment programs, about 7 or 8, and in and out of sober living homes, and I would always get to about the 6 to 9 month mark of my recovery, and then I would relapse every single time. Every treatment center that I was ever placed in was teaching 12-step abstinence-based treatment, and I was never offered any other program. I was never shared to about MAT treatment, nothing. In 2008, I got a felony charge for possession of a controlled substance, and I was placed on probation. I ended up fucking my probation off and going to prison. When I went to prison, I was like, I'm going to stay sober and I'm not ever going to go back to drugs. And I paroled out to a sober living home, and I lived there for 9 months, and I did really well. And then I relapsed. That relapse would take me back out until I finally got into recovery this time around. While I was out on that relapse, I met my husband in 2012. In 2013, we got pregnant. Now, I didn't think we were pregnant, but his dad walked up to me in the kitchen and said, "Are you pregnant?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Yes, you are." About a week later, I took a pregnancy test and I was pregnant. So I had my son. I was in active addiction, and I gave birth to my son while I was high on methamphetamine. And I'm not proud of that. After I gave birth to my son, again, I told myself, I'm never getting high again. I made promises, I prayed, everything. But I didn't know how to stay sober. I didn't have the tools. And I white-knuckled it for about 90 days, and then I relapsed. So now I'm relapsed, and I'm doing all drugs. Shooting cocaine, shooting meth, shooting Roxys, taking benzos, and I have a little baby boy. A year went by. I'm so grateful that my mother-in-law lived with us at the time, because she took care of my son. When I went MIA and went to go get high, my little boy was always with his Gigi. Then my best friend called CPS on me. My best friend, who I smoked crack with, shot meth with, she got mad at me, and she called CPS on me. And CPS took my son from me. I petitioned the court to try and get my son to be able to go live with his Gigi because they had bought a new home. But CPS didn't want to do that because they wanted to get money. So they told me, no, your son cannot go live with his grandparents. He has to go into foster care. And that's when I was like, you know what? I'm never turning back. And I got my son back in a year, and I ain't fucking relapsed since, and that was in 2015.